Did you know that the MetroCard was obsolete almost as soon as it was introduced? That's right. The MetroCard was introduced in 1994 as a more convenient and lightweight replacement for the token. It was a blue plastic card with gold lettering and used magnetic stripe technology to store fares on it. The first MetroCard-capable turnstiles were installed at Wall Street and Whitehall Street stations in Lower Manhattan. Passengers praised the new card as they would no longer need to carry large amounts of heavy tokens, but they also wanted the card to do more than just pay a single fare with every swipe. 3 years later, the MTA granted them their wish with the introduction of MetroCard Gold, which swapped the colors of the card to the now familiar gold with blue lettering and added unlimited cards and free transfers. This advancement finally allowed the token to be retired in 2003. However, by that point, parts of the rest of the world were already moving on from magstripe fare media. Seoul was the first city to do so in 1995, a mere 1 year after the MetroCard was introduced. 4 years later, in 1999, Washington, D.C. introduced the Smart Trip card, meaning there was a period of time where you could wake up in New York City, take the subway to Penn Station with a token, travel to D.C., and tap into what was then called Metro Rail with a contactless card. In 2003, the same year the token was eliminated, London introduced the now famous Oyster Card as a replacement for paper tickets and to supplement the magstripe travel card, which had been in use since 1983. Other major cities would follow over the next decade and a half: Boston in 2006, Chicago in 2013, and even the Path system in the MTA's own backyard in 2007. Still, the MTA stuck with the MetroCard until 2019, when they finally introduced Omni, the technology of which is based on the Oyster Card. The MetroCard is due to be replaced in 2023. Indeed, a MetroCard I received recently has an expiration date of December 31st, 2023, which is longer than the normal year-and-a-half validity period. Now, a little secret. I have never thrown away a MetroCard knowingly. Of course, as with most things that are going to go away, most people will probably keep one or a couple of cards for the memories. So why keep more? For one, it will have an intrinsic collector's value once they go out of production. You see this already with the old tokens, old coins, vintage Pokemon cards, and vintage pencils. And throwing them away is bad for the environment, as it is with most things made of plastic. But what kinds of MetroCards can be considered valuable? For one, there are the cards with advertisements. These seem to have been more prevalent early on, as most of the older cards in my collection have advertising or some kind of collaboration on the back, while most of the newer cards have safety warnings instead. Maybe, though, I'm just looking in the wrong places or getting my cards from the wrong machines, as I have seen more recent cards with ads on them online, and plenty of them too. One recent example of an advertising card is the Supreme card, of which only a limited number were made. People lined up for hours to get their hands on this card, and some of them sold online for inflated prices soon after they were released. Then, there are the special events cards. These also have a different design on the front, and commemorate special events like the Super Bowl, a significant date in subway history, or Pride Month. The MTA even released a special series of cards where the MetroCard logo on the front had its color changed from blue to green to celebrate people taking public transportation, which is more environmentally friendly than driving. As mentioned before, the cards themselves are a different story. Even regular cards can be sentimental if the expiration date reminds you of certain points in your life. For me, there were the annual Black Friday trips with my high school friends where we would not spend a dime on consumerism, and the Christmas markets we would go to. There was the trip all the way up to Van Cortlandt Park for a single track meet, and the one time my college friends and I decided to visit the beach at Coney Island on a whim. But with the good memories come the bad as well. I have the student card I was using on my third day of high school when my backside was groped on a crowded train by a stranger for about 5 minutes, and all I could do was stand there paralyzed, unable to escape regardless because of how packed the train was. I was 14 at the time. I have the card I forgot to refill one day on the way to my summer job, and the bus driver grabbed the handle on the top of my backpack and threw me off the bus. I have the card I was using when I sat down next to a person who had died on the train in a sitting position, and neither I nor anyone around me realized it until we got to the last stop and the train was about to depart in the other direction. I have the cards I used that were double charged by the select bus service machines too many times to count. And, of course, I have all the cards with 2020 or 2021 expiration dates that I was unable to use because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking of being double charged, I recently decided to get a physical Omni card after the last time it happened in order to avoid continually being short on my MetroCard and having to file claims with customer service to get my money back. You can currently only get them at stores like 7-Eleven, and they cost $5 for the card itself and $1 to initially load the card, but they're sleek and last for 7 years. The first day I used the card, it worked flawlessly for most of the day, including on the M14 Select bus route. But when I got to the route that gave me problems with my MetroCard in the past, the Omni card failed to register a transfer. Maybe that bus route hates me, or maybe the depot where it is based needs to get its act together. Regardless, Omni is not perfect, nor is the rollout even complete, and there are still teething issues that need to be resolved. Reports of the MetroCard's impending demise may have been greatly exaggerated.